5 Pinterest mistakes could be hurting your success on the platform. So let's dive into them and discuss why you can throw that right out the window. Hey, I'm Heather, and if you are new here, then welcome. I run this YouTube channel, a Pinterest marketing membership, and an agency where I do all things Pinterest marketing, strategy, ads, organic, you name it, for clients over, hundreds of different businesses in the last 8 years. So when it comes to mistakes, I feel like I have a little bit of knowledge and I know what I'm talking about. So without further ado, number 1 is worrying about what your neighbor next door is doing. I just had a call with a potential client yesterday, and the entire call was focused on what their competitor was doing and why they can do it better and how we can do this on Pinterest too. And I felt like in the moment, the business owner that was coming to me for help to help their business out actually wanted me to just recreate what this other business was already doing on Pinterest. Now, I am not saying that you shouldn't look at what your competition is doing on Pinterest. You can definitely inform a lot of your Pinterest strategy by looking at the keywords that they're using in their pin copy, in their boards, by looking at what kind of pins they're making, like their pin formats and things like that. However, you shouldn't try to recreate what someone else is doing almost exactly. It's not going to work for you because you are not them. In the long run, doing things that do not feel good for you, that do not fit the vibe of what you have going on in your life and your business, is not going to find success on Pinterest for you. So let's stop cheating off our neighbor's paper and let's focus on our own businesses. Mistake number 2 is not attempting to create some cohesion in your Pinterest design strategy. Now, I created a YouTube video all about how to create a cohesive branded Pinterest design strategy if you want to check that out. However, one thing that I see over and over again when clients come to me, when students come to me, is they don't understand why their pins just aren't performing. And in a lot of cases, it's because of a lack of cohesion with their design strategy, but it's also a lot of other things like lack of keywords, no real strategy for how they're going to target their actual audience, things like that. So this mistake is not creating a cohesive branded experience on Pinterest for your audience. That way you can actually be recognized by your pinners. Because remember, and maybe you don't know this because you've never heard it before, but pinners don't actually have to follow you in order to see your content. In fact, the majority of Pinterest pinners are likely not going to find you, follow you, and then continue to consume your content. What they are likely to do is find you, engage with your content, then be served more of your content. That is how the algorithm works, and that is why followers are not super important to focus on. So if you can create a cohesive experience throughout all of your Pinterest designs, through your branding on Pinterest with your banner and your board covers, and kind of link Pinterest to what your website looks like, you're likely to create more trust, build more consistency in the returning pinners who see your content again and again. Let's try to create a cohesive branded experience on Pinterest. Now, in the beginning, when you are creating your Pinterest strategy, you may be testing different templates, you might be testing different colors, different fonts, all of that stuff. I understand that there is a testing period. However, at some point, you're going to come out of that testing period and you're going to kind of have an idea of what is going to work. And that's when you really can lean into the strategies that I talk about in that cohesive pin design strategy video. Mistake number 3 is not using a variety of pin formats. What do I mean by this? So you can make image pins and video pins now. Idea pins are gone. Even if you still have that little thing in your scheduler on Pinterest that says create idea pin, they are not a thing anymore. All right? So not using a variety of formats in the way that I like to teach in my membership, which is tossing in the occasional infographic, using animated pins, promoting products and free content, creating Pinterest pins for lead magnets, using video. Yes, I said image and video pins, but using actual video in your pin design strategy. So you don't have to just create image pins. That is what we've always called standard pins. Pinterest now just calls them image pins. You don't have to just do that anymore. You can toss out a variety of different things. So if you're an e-commerce seller, if you're on Etsy, if you're doing print on demand, if you're a content creator, you really do have a lot of options now, including pinning more square pins as well as some rectangle stuff. I have actually been testing this out with myself and with clients for quite a while, and I have to say that a lot of my square pins are getting just as good of reach as my tall pins are. So really just testing out different image formats, different file types, and seeing what is going to attract your audience. Now, each one is going to be better at different phases of the customer journey. What do I mean by that? I mean, videos are going to be really good for spreading and bringing in a lot of top of funnel reach, but they may not lead to a lot of outbound clicks. So if you can use videos to generate saves, then image pins to generate traffic, win-win, right? So you're not going to know what's going to work for you unless you test it out. Okay, mistake number 4 is something I see a lot. In fact, the client I was just telling you, the pre-client I was just telling you about, that I had a call with yesterday that wants to hire my agency, had mentioned that she'd created these 5 different video pins. They were like carousels. And they weren't really doing very well compared to some previous videos that she had uploaded. Well, at first glance, they're just a blank screen when you see them on Pinterest. So of course they're not really gonna do very well because the pinners who are also seeing it just see a blank screen. They don't see the image that's in the pin. They don't see any text overlay for context as to what that pin is about. So in this instance, you really do need to make sure that you are adding a video cover. Now I'm going to pop up onto the screen what this actually looks like. So when you upload a pin to Pinterest, or you use Tailwind or any other third-party scheduler, there should be the ability to add a video cover. If there is not, and you're using a third-party app that doesn't give you that ability, just upload through the native scheduler on Pinterest. So what I'm gonna show you right now is the native scheduler right on Pinterest. What you're gonna do is you're gonna drag and drop your video into that Create tab, and from there, underneath the Pinterest pin is the most common place this is gonna be located, but just be aware that Pinterest does change their formatting a lot. So if this moves, you just need to look around the screen. But right now, underneath the upload box where your video is located is a drag kind of situation. You're gonna drag that box to find your cover and make sure that you apply a cover to your video pins before you publish them. Otherwise, you are going to run the risk of it showing up as a black screen or a blank screen or on something that you actually don't want people to see until they're into the video. You want to make sure that you add your video covers, and you actually want to make sure that you are using most predominantly the MP4 format. Now, I'm likely going to get asked questions as to why I don't use the GIF format, and it's simply because I found that MP4s are easier to upload to Pinterest. Oftentimes they fit the 4-second format, and I always get the ability to add a cover. That's not always the case with the GIFs. I've seen different things happen with Pinterest and how they behave with that file format. I always just use MP4s. The final and 5th mistake that a lot of business owners make, whether you are an e-commerce store, you're a content creator, service provider, it doesn't really matter what bucket of creator you fall in. But this mistake drives me mad. It's only creating one pin for a URL and then ditching it and never creating content for it again. Guys, stop doing this. I want you to take a look at my Pinterest system. It's in my Shopify store. It's probably also in the links of this video description. But my Pinterest system is going to help you to create a workflow to consistently utilize all of the content that you have in your business. Not only your content, but also your products. So what I want you to do is go back and make pins for those URLs that you ditched. It'll also probably give you an opportunity to make sure that the content, the product images, and the product description details are up to date. I can't tell you how many times people have either not pinned something because they forgot or only done it once. So we are going to utilize all of our hard work we're gonna send traffic to it more often, and we're going to do it with strategy. If you're ready to get serious with your Pinterest marketing strategy, head on over and watch the video titled 4 Steps to Create Your Own Pinterest Marketing Strategy.